Hi there. Are you interested in selling jeans on eBay? Well, we have got some tips for you that we're going to share as being professional jean sellers. I think we can call ourselves that.
Well, what's the definition? How does it go for athletes, right? You get paid, you're a professional. So.
Yes. And so we sell jeans and we get paid. So I think we're pros, right?
Hmm.
But I am Prof Sales.
And am I somebody new now? Am I
You
really?
could be.
Am I just Ask Kaaren? And hey, John Baker, I see what you did there. All jacked up.
So welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. This is where we talk about reselling, entrepreneurship, mindset, motivation, inspiration, and just really how to improve your life with starting a business and that changes everything.
And how to maintain balance and remain positive, right?
Absolutely. So we do live shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the US. And so if you ever like to join us and you're able to log on those days, set the reminder, set the little bell that says, hey, remind, and subscribe to the channel so that way you'll see whenever they come out. But if you have other questions and comments, just throw them down below after this video post in the comments, and we will do our best to answer them. You are just smiling from ear to ear. We'll get there. So we're going to talk today about jeans, but really this show could be about just selling in general and some lessons and things we've learned over the past year. We're going to share some results with you guys. We're going to show you some recent solds that we've had. We're going to talk about a couple problem situations I've had recently on eBay, and really just, delve into this idea of what do you do when your sales are not where you think they should be or they could be. How do you improve them? But I think the first step in doing that, though, is you have to know where you're at.
When lemons are thrown your way, see what I did there? We're going to make lemonade.
Absolutely. So
start from where we're at. Where are we? We covered during our last show that sales, word of the day, suck right now for a lot of people, right? I'm going to acknowledge that. We're going to compartmentalize it, analyze it, whatever, but we're going to move on from it, right? We're going to make a plan, and we're not going to dwell on it, because I think when we were prepping for the show, we were talking about how people can get stuck in, I don't want to say stuck in negativity, but when you're faced with a challenge, which in this case is slow sales, it's really easy just to sit back and have a perpetual pity party about it. And it will never get better.
A PPP.
P to the P, P cubed. So anyway, I just lost my train of thought because of that. So anyway, you have to be in this business proactive, at a minimum reactive to your results. Or guess what? If you continue to do the same thing over and over again, day after day, guess what's going to happen?
Same results.
Same results.
Yes. So, when I was putting together my thoughts around this show, I thought, what's going to be impactful? What can I share with people that hopefully they will get something from and they can take and apply to their own business? One of the things that a lot of resellers do that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense is they don't really reflect on their business at all. They just chug along. They just keep listing this, buying that, sourcing here, doing this. Take any time to look at their business, kind of from this higher view to say, is what I'm doing making sense? Am I making progress? Am I moving forward? You're competing against yourself, but is it gonna get me to where I think I can go? For a lot of us in reselling, the answer to that question is no. Not a lot of people do that on a consistent basis, has been my experience. But I can tell you that when you look at the world's biggest companies, the ones that do the best, that are the most profitable, that have the most success, to a T, one of the things they do is they all reflect on where they are, where they've come from, where they are, and then make a plan for where they're going to go. There's no reason you can't do that. Just because you're not a multi-billion-dollar corporation doesn't mean you can't learn some lessons from the ones that are and apply them to reselling. So we decided to look at this niche of selling jeans kind of in that context, I guess, that framework. And we're going to share with you some actual numbers and so on that have happened over the past 1 year, because interestingly enough, 1 year ago today, on October 4, 2016, I started listing the list date of every item that I listed on eBay from that point forward. I was actually not doing that before. Don't ask me why.
He was doing everything else when it came to prof math.
But that. And the problem with that, the problem with not doing that is that you don't really know how long it takes for something for something to sell. If you don't know when you listed it, you can't know how long it took you to sell it, right? And you might think, well, I don't care, Prof. I just want to sell stuff, sell all the thingies and move them out quick. But the reality is you probably have items sitting around your inventory that may have been there for a while. But how would you know unless you knew when you listed it? You wouldn't know for sure. You'd kind of have an idea. You might say, well, these inventory numbers I listed approximately in this month or this quarter. But ultimately, you don't really know. And you don't really know, track of when you list something, how long that category of item takes to sell. Like for us, we started out selling denim on this voyage, but I cannot tell you how long it took for some of those older pair to sell because I didn't have a list date. But I can't tell you definitively, oh, it took this long. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Now, we have a caveat here. There are literally a few thousand pair of jeans.
Several thousand pair of jeans are not going to be included
in this example. I wasn't tracking when I listed them. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, though, what we have done in the past 1 year, 365 days ago. So let's go to that. And let me pull that up with a screen share.
Oh, I thought you were already gone. I was making funny faces.
No, you can't do that yet. See, you jumped the gun. All right. So overall, since October 4th, 2016, we purchased 1,173 jeans. It's actually a few more than that because we probably have about 40 or 50 that right now are not included in that number because we've not entered the receipt info yet. But we'll just, for sake of argument, save us around that. Now, that is not a lot, honestly, to what we were doing in the previous year. When I look back, there are quite a few more than that we purchased, at least double, if not triple. So that tells us that this past year was not a lot in terms of the amount of jeans that we bought. Now, we did buy other items and get into other niches. We started selling shoes. We went on a bins exploration there for a while. We were still doing Amazon at the latter part of last year as well as into the spring somewhat until we sort of tailed off in the late spring. So there were other things that we were selling and doing that impacted our jeans purchases and so on. But you can see that we've sold 773 of those since then. So for those of you playing along, that's the 65, we'll say 66% sell-through rate. Almost 2 out of 3 to the number. So basically a third of the ones we have are still left. The average time to sell them was 78 days. And I went through and broke out for you guys sort of some time ranges here. So kind of looking at this, you can see that basically half of the denim, like right here, sell within, that's actually a little more than half, sell within 60 days. Is that a true representation? I think so. I don't know for a fact, but I could probably say pretty confidently that half of the jeans that you buy and you list, if you're doing everything correctly, you're going to sell about half of them within 60 days, 2 months. You're going to sell another 10 or 11% within 90 days. So within 90 days, you're going to sell around 60%, and actually about 65% of them, or 54%, excuse me, 54% of them in that time frame. And then the rest of them go on from there. So I don't know if this is a lot or not. Now, what's interesting is you see this is a big number here. This is the average time of 120 days plus. Part of the reason this is so big, guys, is because you're always going to have an oldest pair of jeans, and you're going to have a second oldest pair and a third oldest pair. And then when they sell, they're going to push up this number because they've been sitting for a while. So you could also say that maybe as much as a quarter of your denim might set for what is that, 4 months? Yeah, 4 months plus. I didn't break it out any further. I could break it out into 120 and 150 and so on. I just didn't think there was a lot of reason to do that. So let's move into some other numbers here. Average sales price was $19.61. The average shipping income was $604 for a total average income of $25.65. Now, a lot of that, this was back when I was still charging shipping. I'm not doing that as much. So here's what's going to happen, guys. If you quit charging shipping, this number, and you do free shipping, but you incorporate a higher sales price, this number will go up. This number will obviously go down. Your average income should be roughly the same if you're pricing your item correctly. Average purchase price, $4.09 for jeans over the past year. Average shipping cost was $6.23. Part of the reason that's higher than this shipping income is, again, as I'm moving towards free shipping. So shipping cost is going to be pretty close to that. And so the total average cost was $10.33. And then last but not least, average gross profit, $15.32. And I have an estimated, if you take out around 13% for fees and so on from PayPal and eBay, of basically $12 per jean. Now, let's come back to we're going to stop sharing. So we'll come back for a minute. And some people are making some comments on that. I think that if you can net $12 on every pair of jeans you buy, you're going to do pretty well. I mean, I feel like that's not bad for a pre-owned. Mm-hmm. Now, you're not going to sell. Math is accurate for everything, for the jean universe. And I'm not saying it is or isn't, but I have no reason to believe it's way off. If you changed your pricing around, you could change it a little bit for sure. But with my model and with what I'm doing, I think that you're going to sell through 2/3 of your jeans in a year. You're going to sell, a quarter of them are going to sell really quickly. Another quarter are going to sell and it'll take a while. And the other 50% are somewhere there in the middle. $12 a pair if you can keep your costs down to around $4 a pair. Is that good? I don't know. I mean, I think it is.
I gave him the same look this morning when he asked me.
I think because here's the math that I always think about, guys. I look at it as you've got at least $2 of labor cost in every item of clothing that you list. And I base it on the time to source and the time and energy to check it over, to photograph it, to list it, to pack and ship it. You got at least $2 of labor, account for your time or an employee or if somebody's helping you, whoever, you've got at least that much in there. So I think that if you can net $12 on every clothing item that you sell, I think that's pretty good. What do you think?
I concur.
She concurs.
And there's some interesting things that have come up in the chat. Mark, as usual, has great things to point out, and he mentions that you can add start date to your listings. But here's the thing. We're not real good about pulling down the reports on a regular basis.
We're not doing only good till canceled either.
Oh, that's
He's doing only good till canceled.
Oh, there you go. That I didn't see that part. But we're writing it down for that reason, to keep track, because we can't always, eBay only gives us the last 90 days. And if eBay, if you're listening, could we get better about that, please?
Yeah, you can download those reports each month and kind of keep it in CSV format and always have it there. But it's just a lot of time suck to go in and sort of manipulate all that data if you're, if you're not well equipped to do that. And I don't know. But guys, I'm going to say that given this past year, we really got off in other directions from denim. which is interesting. We moved. We were doing Amazon, but then moved away from that. We moved into shoes. We experimented with selling more from the bins and, other types of clothing items that were not jeans.
Which we're going to start, which I'm sorry, I have to laugh. He's not a fan of the non-jean. So we're just at a point where we're weeding out, or that's a bad word to say, but we're listing the tchotchke stuff that you do not prefer. Let's be honest.
I hate it.
And so, yeah, so we're going to focus more, and we're just now getting through the last of it.
I totally agree. And, we talked about this on Monday, guys, and what we're doing to sort of rededicate ourselves to this. And we took some steps. We've already started taking them. One was this rededication to listing and, making sure that we were listing on a regular basis, at least 5 days a week for me. For you, that might be every day, or it might be once a week or 3 times a week or whatever it is. But I think repeated listing on a regular basis seems to push up your results on eBay. I don't know why. I can't prove it. I don't think anyone can prove it or disprove it, but what everyone says and experiences, that seems to be the case.
Well, and lo and behold, we sold a bunch of stuff last night. So
yeah, and I was just listening to a podcast on the way back from the post office earlier, and the guy was talking about, you're better off usually going deep into a niche than going wide, because I think Kelly just said something about that. And we kind of went wide. I mean, we started getting off into these other areas, and I've realized that, like, I try to make sure that whatever we tell you guys on this channel comes across as accurately and as completely and as honestly as we can. I've realized that going off into too many other areas is a mistake. Just in clothing, I mean, you not even just selling on eBay, just even going off in other areas of your life, because I have developed a lot of ideas and projects and things this year, and some have been really, really good. I mean, honestly, they've all been really good, but has become impossible. So there's just not enough time and energy. And so what ends up happening is you put a little energy into this and a little time over here, but nothing really is impactful because you really can't focus on enough. So I've committed to refocusing on sort of what our core is, especially with eBay.
How does that, somebody help me, how does that phrase go? Whatever of many, master of none?
Master of none, yeah.
And those words are ringing in my ears because we've used that phrase before when we talked about, learning all the thingies and buying all the thingies. And, when you walk into some people take that, you just call it that big, widespread approach, right?
Right.
And, we've talked about that before, but at the end of the day, it comes back to you do what you know and you do what you're good at. And we're still learning other things along the way. But you're absolutely right. That's kind of, and we also don't, we didn't talk about this, sorry, but we also don't talk about some of the big personal challenges that have been going on with us and our families.
Sure.
And, we have, as a lot of you guys do, we have parents, and our parents have health issues, and, we're trying to balance that in addition to everything else that we're doing. And I won't go into a lot of detail about that, but.
Well, you guys have similar issues, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Everyone out there has similar, things that are going on, obstacles to overcome. And that's just life. I mean, that's not going to change. That's not going to be any different a year from now or 5 years. You're going to go through periods and seasons where you have more or less, but it's going to be constant. So, you got to find ways to deal with that.
So what else are we going to do? Rededication to listing. What else?
Yes. Promoted listings. Someone was asking about that. I recently I don't know if anybody else has had this glitch. I went and created a new campaign with promoted listings yesterday, and hundreds of my listings kicked out and would not update. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Maybe somebody else can talk about that. I tried starting a whole new campaign. It wasn't even just editing an old one. So I put up some, but it did seem to help listings overnight. And so I'm going to share some. I'm going to share some solds here in a moment, which we haven't done that in a while. So,
well, you're also doing something else really cool, and it is science, people. So pay attention.
Science. Now you've put me under the microscope.
Yeah,
See what I did there?
the gauntlet has been thrown. You and Luke of Endless Entrepreneurs are working on a little something, right? A little experiment that I affectionately have called Frankenstein.
Yeah, we want to start listing. We're just going to do it probably like 100 listings. List half of them right at the top of the market, the top of the solds, and then the other half sort of middle of the road, and just see if it affects sell through and if we can get higher prices by doing that. Even for run of the mill items that, I was joking the other day. I had to list that Levi's 515 boot cut for like $42 or something crazy, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I would never list it this high. See if we can get some higher prices for them, because that obviously improves your profitability. Because you put the same amount of time and energy into an item, whether you sell it for $10 or $10,000, right? Well, maybe not 10,000. You might put a little more into that, but you get the point that you still have a time and energy and investment in an item, and you might as well try to maximize the amount of profit you can get in the shortest amount of time to sell it as possible. So we're seeing how that goes. But I want to share with you guys some recent solds.
Ooh, show and tell. Virtually, of course.
Yes. Let me, oh, that's not the right thing.
Nope, that's not it.
Yeah. So we're going to share with you guys some recent solds we've had on eBay. And I'm going to walk through these. We're going to go through these fairly quickly. So not spend, Hangouts is always so clunky to share things. All right, so here's a pair. These are recent solds. These were actually older Kujis, and you see that they only sold for 20 bucks. I probably had these for a year and a half. So I'm guessing.
Aren't they gorgeous? And they really are that vibrant and beautiful.
Yeah, they really were. You can see here, and when we zoom in, these are a really nice pair of jeans. I mean, Kuji is just a cool, iconic brand. Yeah, they don't always go for the highest money, and I probably could have gotten a little higher for these, but somebody got a nice pair of jeans. Next up, these are all sold in the last basically 36 hours or so. I don't know, whatever. These are Ralph Lauren jeans, Ralph Lauren. Size 14, nothing super fancy here, just a basic jean for 25 bucks. So pretty happy with those. So I will pick up Ralph Lauren, especially through the larger sizes like this. Levi's 515 boot cut, 20 bucks, just an older pair, just trying to kind of get rid of some of these. Gone out the door. Silver jeans, one of my favorite. Silvers you can usually get higher for, especially the Suki and Icos, and these were Sukis. They have great distressing on these jeans, and the stitching is always so cool on silvers as well. It's just looks good. It's just a good looking jean. Here's the butt shot. You can see like so. Oh, love silver.
I think I got those when I went to go visit Lauren in the Midwest.
Oh, there you go. So Lauren, if you're listening. Another pair of silver jeans. This ones are Santorinis. They don't go for quite as much. So these only sold for 20, but they were an older pair as well. So gone out the door.
I probably took that picture. It's so good.
I sound like somebody else saying all this.
Oh, I'll talk. Another pair of Levi's. Oh, this is my favorite number, 529s. Not my size, 6 short. Excellent bread and butter will always sell pair of jeans. My personal.
And that's older too, because I can tell from that photo.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
We don't take shots on that table anymore. So.
And we're also not putting the tailor's tape in it anymore either.
Right. We used to do this shot with the tailor's tape, but now we just tend to measure.
Oh, that's not even the tailor's tape.
That's the old yardstick, actually.
Oh, that's the metal yardstick.
So there you go. Banana Republic jeans. Now, we've experimented around with this shot.
I love it.
She likes it, but I hate how the color gets funky with the camera sometimes behind it. See the color of the table? It looks really weird. It's like it's catching a hot spot.
I think that's an older one, but look,
I also noticed too, guys, be careful if you're doing this folding shot. I screwed this one up. This was me. I didn't pull the legs even. And part of the reason I did this is because when I'm standing up high and shooting the whole jean like that, it's kind of hard to see from your perspective if the legs are equal length. So you kind of need to do that before you get up to take this higher shot.
Well, and in your defense, not that you need it, but we've since corrected that by we're putting more light on it. And we've lowered the table.
We lower the table, so it makes it easier to do that. So that's an easy thing, because you will get somebody who will ask you from time to time, hey, is one leg shorter than the other? And the answer is no, but
hey, a picture doesn't lie.
Yeah, it'll be great to see if these come back. Well, the right leg was an inch shorter. BKE jeans.
Love it.
These did not sell for 32. They sold for less than that. I want to say they sold for 25, but
you took a best offer on
I think I took a best offer. These are mechanic jeans, BKE mechanics.
Those are the guy jeans or those girl jeans?
They're guys.
What's that 10?
See, it says men's right there.
Oh, I didn't
The front rise.
Oh.
It's front rise. I do that. I leave it in the titles sometimes if there's room. I will,
gotcha.
But I don't know. BKE is great. Buckle jeans. I mean, they just
and that's
always pick these up.
That's the vintage line.
Yep.
And that, let me tell you, that is a sharp pair of pants. I like them.
Cut from the Cloth, another great brand. Cut from the cloth for $25 all day long. Yep. I mean, honestly, they're expensive jeans new. They're good quality. These are solos.
Solos, yeah.
And there's my full-on shot, which was better.
With a little whiskering going on.
So there you have some recent solds we had. Nothing crazy there, but just in the last, 36, 40, or 48, 72 hours, so on. And pretty happy about those. So
somebody actually asked us, and I want to quote the name correctly because it makes me giggle, because I think I knew where they were going with this. But Old Dirty Thrifter Woo Thrift Clan. Going with that, right?
Yeah.
Asked about boot cut. I think he, from the picture, says that he's running into only boot cuts out in the wild. And he asked if what percentage of hours. And I told him that I think it's no more than any other cut, right? Boot cut doesn't represent a majority.
No, I wouldn't say it's a majority, but it's probably a plurality. Oh, there's a word for today. Probably is the most common cut that we have. It just, the problem is too, a lot of people will call something a boot cut when it's really not. But if you kind of look at like sold listings of jeans on eBay and then sort it by you'll see boot cut is usually one of the more popular, if not the most popular, just because, men wear it too. I mean, men don't typically wear flare or not too many skinny jeans, just like tend to wear baggy or loose fit very often in jeans. But boot cut is a type that you will find that will go between both genders very commonly. So I think it probably is the most common. Is it a majority? Probably not. But it is a big chunk of it for sure.
That's another P word, plurality.
Plurality. Let's see. So a couple other things here. Metrics. We already did that.
Number five.
Yeah, we're also knocking out the death pile. That is another part of our strategy going forward into the fall, October.
Death pile.
Yeah, I mean, just whittle it down. Even if you whittle it down 10 listings a day, I mean, you just feel great about it. You're just like, oh, another 10 gone, another 10 gone. I empty another bin, a stack. The bins start stacking up, and the sales start rolling in. It's kind of like this, this triangle of awesome.
That is your life in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so his goal minimum is 10 a day, and with 180 items, that gives us, like we said, just over a couple of weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks. Yeah.
So far so good, and it looks like it's making a difference. And it's going to be interesting because we can't really say or give credit to it's just the listing or maybe it's the promoted. It's going to be a combination of those things. We are definitely a proponent of you list stuff, you sell stuff. So we're on track for the immediate commitments that we've made to the jean part of the business, right?
Right. And I want to share with you guys one other thing. We're coming up on just over a month away, the 1-year anniversary of the 100 listings in a day video we did. If you haven't watched that, you can find it many videos ago.
And you have like a week's worth of time to kill. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we photographed. We videoed ourselves for like 9 hours that day.
We went live for 9 hours straight, and actually we did it in like roughly 3 3-hour chunks. And
it was 4.
Who is with me? Who thinks to celebrate our anniversary we should do it again? I think we should at least do something. We don't have to go for 9 hours. I get it. You're a year older. But maybe we could do something live that day. I think it would be cool. Why not?
Anyway.
People could visit. There could be confetti. We'll drink coffee. We'll talk about all the thingies. Come on, people. Where's the support for this crazy idea?
I don't think anyone's going to support that.
Want to bet?
Laura just clearly talking about something else. So let me share with you guys where we're at on those 100 listings. I have been keeping track of them.
Yes.
All this time. And so I'll show you.
It went away.
Yeah, it's because these screen shares are always kind of a little tricky to get them. You have to have the screen up, see it.
I forgot the song that I was going to sing too.
I'm sure you'll remember it. All right, so this is, just so you guys can see, this was the 100 listings. Today is the 4th. We did this on November 16th. It's been 322 days. We've sold basically 77 of them. Just so you know, average selling price of $24.48.
So that's roughly 1 pair every 5 days?
Yeah, 0.22 per day of those 100. So now think about that, guys. Those listings are stale, right? I mean, they've been listed for over 300 days.
That's an understatement, but
yes. We still sell one of them every 5 days. So, you know, I think those are all good till cancels now at this point. I'm not positive on that. I have to go back and relook. And every once in a while, one sells. I'm like, oh, cool. So, you know, they still keep moving. Jeans will do that. Sometimes it just takes a while, and patience. So.
Oh, and you know what's interesting? My unprof math brain notices that percentage is actually a little higher than the other one.
Oh, overall. It is higher than the 67%. Because we had a big bump from those right away. I think we sold 10 or 11 of those in 24 hours. You know, we sold like 10% of them right away. So that actually helped. So maybe we'll do something weird for it. I don't know that we need to do another 100 listings in a day. That seemed just dumb on many levels.
All right, so let's just make a promise, because there's people that will come and we'll have fun with it. So we will. What's the date?
What should have taken like 4 hours or 3 hours took 9. Explaining things and talking to people as we went, which was cool. But in terms of productivity, we took a 1-day job and turned it into the equivalent, or a half-day job and turned it into equivalent of a full-day job. So,
well, and arguably even more than that, because, you know, it's the first time we did it. So we I can remember it was funny because we got to the point where you had gotten listed, but I had been doing content and talking about how to do this, how to take better pictures, how to measure whatever. And then we got to this point where you had no pictures. Pivot, and you had to talk and entertain, provide content. And then, you know, because we kind of, but okay, so we'll do something for that anniversary. It won't be a 9-hour day, fine. Oof. But we'll do something. Why not? It'll be fun. We'll all get together. We'll
figure out something to do. So if you guys have got any ideas about what that could be, leave them in the comments down below after this video post, and we'll consider it. Not gonna say we'll do it because it depends on what it is. So
yeah.
Where am I? Oh, couple problem sales lately. I'm going to share with you guys. See if you guys have run into these. Okay, so which one to start? I think I'm going to start with that one first. So I sold a jacket to someone. It was a Pendleton jacket. Now, how many of you guys in the chat have ever sold Pendleton or even Pendleton jackets? Women, there's a segment of the population that really like Pendleton jackets. Women that like them.
It's a great brand. It's also a great vintage brand.
Yes, yes. And this, I'm going to see if I've even got the photo here. I guess I could show this if I can find the photo real quick. The problem is that I sold this.
You look, I'll talk. So he sold this jacket, and we get an INAD, item not as described, and it says that first words, reason for the complaint was that there is no size in the jacket.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, it doesn't fit. So my immediate response is, well, what's the issue here? That you didn't read the size or the measurements that we provided. And this is me just talking out loud, not so that we're clear talking to the customer this way,
Right.
but to each other. That's my first response.
Right. And so we sold this jacket, and the woman said, you know, it didn't have the size on it. And I didn't even look that closely at my own listing. I was kind of, because she sent me 3 photos, one of the size tag or the manufacturer's tag, and a couple other smaller tags that were on it. I don't know. I mean, I thought, well, maybe I did screw it up. Maybe I put the wrong, but I realized after a bit, in the description, I actually put measurements. I put the pits, I put the length, and I put the sleeve length. So I put those 3 measurements in there.
And sometimes Pendleton either doesn't have a size or it's hard to find.
Right. And because she was saying, I've looked all over, nowhere do I see that it's this size, and you said it is. And she basically was doing item not described and wanted her money back without.
Right. She wanted free return shipping.
Because it would have been item not described. So her photo she sent to me, which I enlarged, and because she was not seeing it when I first sent it back to her, told her, because she sent me this photo of the entire size tag. So I finally went in and just created like a real quick graphic, and I sent her this photo, as you guys can see, with the size here of, now I grant you that is not the largest size in the world, but Pendleton does this nonsense sometimes. They put the size down there kind of small. Maybe you guys have seen this type of size on, sometimes if it's a small or medium or large, it'll be there as well.
Right, but I miss it. I miss it all the
It's
time.
easy to miss. It's
obscure.
Easy to miss. Easy to miss.
However,
she is determined now that, nope, I still don't see it. It's not there. And so I actually kind of walked her through it today to say, well, it's below, you know, the word mills. And I don't know how it'll turn out from here. I've kind of wasted more time in terms of money than I would have, you know, if I would just gone ahead and bought her a label to send it back. I'm kind of interested to see how this will play out now at this point, because the size is there. The measurements were there. I don't know why it didn't fit her. You know, who knows? But, you know, it just reminds me, guys, that if you can kind of do a few things on the front end to take care of, you know, just what problems will be, then maybe you can resolve these situations. I'm not sure what I could have done different in this situation to resolve this, because I think she's just not seeing the size. And she sent me back that exact photo. And I'm like, it's in the photo you sent me. So, which is the photo of the tag. And I get it's not a huge size, and that's what I listed it as. So the fact that it is there, and that's what I listed it, does not make it an item not as described at this point. I have till tomorrow to resolve it, by the way.
And you know, we don't manufacture these clothes. And so we're going by the manufacturer dictates what the size is. And that size, strangely enough, corresponds to most often a size chart on their own website, right?
Right.
So, and this kind of segues into the next one, does it not?
Right. And Mark was asking, did it not fit her? She said it didn't. And I'm even wondering too, it might have, and I don't know how to spot really vintage Pendleton, but I know that particular tag was created back like in the 70s, I think, that sort of style. It could have been.
It could even be 60s. I haven't decided.
So it could be an older one when sizing was different. It could be, you know, I don't know, but I had the actual measurements in there too of the pit to pit, the collar to the hem, and then the sleeve length. So
don't we do shoulders on jackets?
I did pit to pit. So I don't know, but just, you know, guys, take that time to do it because granted it'd only be like $6, $7, $8 for her to ship it back to me. But at that point, if I have to sell it again, got free shipping on the front end. So I'm already going to be like breaking even at best if I can sell this jacket again. I would be out of money to do it. And I normally don't make a big deal about these things, but this is one where it's like it's clear that the listing was okay. And someone said eBay will side with you, and they probably will. But it just kind of stinks I've got to spend this much time and energy on it. But, you know, cover yourself the best you can when you list things and you take photos and put things in your measurements.
Well, and we're also not going to just roll over, you know, and I'm kind of messing with you about, like, this isn't one of those instances where you have to be right.
No,
like, you're not being difficult about it.
No,
it is what it is. And at some point there has to be a little bit more educated. And we're just, you know, some things have come up recently where we're just like, all right, we immediately go. It's like when Ben gets in trouble, something happens at school, I immediately think he's guilty. So when something like this comes up, we immediately go to, all right, we must have done something wrong. Let us double check, you know, our listing, the pictures, etc.
And I do.
And we do every time. And in this instance, even the photo that she sent us in saying this doesn't have a size, the size is on it. So
what else to do?
And all we can guess is that, you know, in being graceful here, perhaps she can't see it. I find that hard to believe at this point, but maybe she can't see it.
Maybe her eyesight's not great, or
it's possible.
Who knows?
You know, I can't even see the chat right now without my glasses.
Right.
But whatever. Moving on. Next.
So the second problem sale that we've had was a pair of jeans. I might have mentioned this before, but it was a pair of Page Denim jeans for boot cut. I sold them, and then the customer created an, and at this time I had I had automatic returns even for item not as described. I've since changed that. I don't know why I went to that originally. I can't remember my logic, but I did. But I changed it back. But anyway, it automatically created the label. And I messaged her and said, hey, I'm just curious, you know, what was not correct about these jeans? And she said, well, you put that they're a boot cut and the opening is really large. It's clearly a flare. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to the Page website and I looked up that particular brand of jeans, which they no longer care, that particular that fit. And the only way it came was as a boot cut. Leg opening was 20 inches, and that was per their website. So it wasn't like it was just made up. Like, it literally said boot cut, leg opening, 20 inches. So I'm like, okay. And I told her, I said, well, just an FYI, the Page website even says it's a 20-inch boot cut, which is a larger boot cut. That is on the high end of boot cut for sure. Mm-hmm. What am I supposed to list it as? And she's like, well, you could have let me know as your buyer. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to let you know. That it could be different than what it is, because it isn't. So I got the jeans back. I measured the leg opening just to make sure it was 20 inches. I took a photo of that.
Well, you actually, like, to be clear, and this person that bought these jeans is a seller. And it gets me because we should know better as sellers, and we should be kinder to each other.
Right.
So we actually, Jason videotaped opening it.
Just to be sure.
Just to be sure that we got back not only the jeans that we sent, got them back in the condition that they were sent originally.
And they were, and it was a 20-inch leg opening. So I went back into the return, and I filed a dispute and said, I don't think the buyer was right about this. This was as described. And, you know, so eBay, you know, said, okay, we'll get back to you. So the next thing you know, I get a negative feedback.
Not only a negative feedback.
Saying the buyer was snippy and wouldn't take a return, which wasn't true. She'd already gotten paid.
I'm going to make a shirt, #snippy.
Yeah, and that, you know, item was not as described. And that was the reason. So I called eBay and I told them the story. And they said, you know what? That sounds like a clear case of buyer's remorse. You're absolutely right. I provided eBay the link to the manufacturer's website and said, look, this jean only comes this way. I don't know what else I could have done differently here. Mm-hmm. And eBay said, you're right. We're going to refund you your shipping cost, and which they did. Mm-hmm. And I was like, great. And I said, well, what about the negative feedback? Because casting aspersion on my character, and saying, you know, the buyer was snippy. I don't even know how I was snippy. I just said, this is reality.
Subjective. And I heard you. He actually told the story like 3 or 4 times. I don't know if you've ever called eBay. 9 times out of 10, it's wonderful, but sometimes you have to talk for a very long time.
And the person was super great. And they were she was super nice.
She was. I heard the whole conversation. It was very cool.
Yeah.
But to use words like snippy or whatever, I'm not going to go on and on. That's more a subjective. It's not factual.
Right.
Like if something is not as described, which is what she was claiming, then speak to that.
Right.
Not that
what she did, but she
feelings hurt. I'll just say that.
Yeah. And the lady on the phone at eBay said, well, that feedback is really their opinion. And
guess what?
We can't take it away. And they said, you are perfectly, you know, entitled to respond. And I said, so I can say that she was snipping? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, like some kind of weird contest here. And they're like, I was like, okay. So I responded. I said, you know, I put on there, I said, buyer's remorse, item described per manufacturer's website. But I don't remember, but factual. And then I thought, well, that sucks. I'm going to have to live with a negative. I haven't gotten a negative in probably like 2 years.
Well, and hold on. There was one other variable you didn't discuss. You have also automated your buyer.
Yeah, the feedback.
Feedback.
Yeah, because it just saves time.
Right.
But you can go in and you can still reply to that, which I did. I'm going to have to live with a negative. But guess what? I wake up the next day.
A new day.
I get an email from eBay that says, hey, we resolved this case in your favor. We did not find that the item was not as described, and we're removing any feedback that the buyer left. And it was gone. The negative was gone. And I'm like,
it was eBay magic. The eBay fairies came and made it all better. And even in that night, and we were almost giddy that night that after he hung up the phone, but he went back on because you haven't had a negative
in a long time.
In a very long time. So he went back and he's like, because he wanted to show it to me, and he's like, wait a minute, it's not here. I can't find it. Yeah, it was
already, it's actually, that's right. They took it away that night.
They almost took it off right away. So, you know, when in doubt, check it out. You know, make that phone call.
But, you know, if you call guys and you have to call eBay about a transaction, don't be emotional. Talk about facts. Use the right terminology. Respect that, you know, the buyer is entitled to an opinion. Respect that when you're wrong, point out where you're wrong. But if the buyer is incorrect about something, point that out, but be factual. Don't make it about personalities, because it doesn't do any good. This doesn't have to be a contentious relationship between you and buyers. Even when there's a disagreement, intimate disagreements, like the lady with the Pendleton jacket and this lady with the jeans, but just stick to the facts and tell eBay that. And, you know, you can just let them know that, look, I'm trying to do the right thing here. I always ask eBay too, hey, was there anything I could have done different here in this situation? Handle it differently, called you guys earlier, whatever. Just to kind of give them, you know, a little heads up and say, you know, I want to do the right thing as a seller. Clear, because every situation can be a little different. But just, you know, and be humble when you call them. There's no reason to get on there and say, I'm a seller and I have 12,000 feedback and I've been selling for 28 years and I'm the most awesome seller. There's no reason to do all that. They can see all that anyway. Doesn't matter. You're talking about that particular incident you've got to resolve, not the past.
And remember, it's not personal. This is your business. And we forget sometimes when somebody makes and you were really good. If I wish I could have recorded the conversation so you guys, it would have been a template for how to talk to eBay and resolve an issue, quite honestly. But it's not personal.
Nope.
And they might say something like you're snippy or snarky or you suck, whatever. But you can't, somebody has to take the high ground and be the professional, right?
Right. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's not like they took the money back from her either.
Oh, but they said they did. We're really not sure.
No, they didn't.
I thought
they didn't.
I thought they said something in the email.
No. No, they said she said they almost never do that. Once the buyer's been refunded, they're going to just leave it. 99 times out of 100, probably 999 times out of 1,000. It'd be very rare that eBay would take money back from the buyer. Had her refund, including her shipping. eBay actually took the hit on it, honestly, because they took the hit for the shipping label. I got the jeans back. I can resell them. I blocked the buyer, so I don't have to deal with them again, because it doesn't make sense at this point. It would be a bad relationship. And everybody's kind of happy. I was happy with it. I was very happy when the negative got removed. That was the bigger thing to me. It wasn't so much the money, because that negative could cost you untold amounts of money down the road. So that was what I was really wanting to get removed, and they did. So,
did we have any questions or anything that you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm sorry we didn't even go to that. You guys have been asking some during the chat.
Yeah, if you have any other ones, Mark made some good points in there. But a couple people, whoever noticed that we have a special guest with us today, I'll give you cookies, and that's the little girl up there, and that's just a prop. That's a big old me head. It's a me head.
What does that even mean?
It just means, So it's not some narcissistic thing. It's actually a prop that I'm going to use for a video. A video, you say, Kaaren? Why on earth would you be making a video?
Don't know.
I almost got on the show and had big sunglasses on, but can we talk about me now?
I think we already have been, but go right ahead.
So, and I want to thank you because, and thank everybody that's come and made comments. I actually went and approved all the comments. I started my own YouTube channel and presence online. And it involves a lot of stuff all at once, but it's Facebook, Instagram, WordPress, YouTube, all of it. And right before we started, I finally put out my first video, and I just want to thank everybody for being so supportive. Check me out, down below. But it's not about reselling. I'll give you a heads up. And it's about a whole bunch of other stuff that may, hopefully it'll make you think, might make you happy, might make you cry sometimes. But it's basically life, death, and everything in between.
Yep.
And I'm blessed to be able to finally take the leap. And I did that on purpose. I put that up there, and a couple of folks, but
it's going to be great. Yeah. So just ask Kaaren. It's in the description. A link to it, and she's going to it's not going to be about reselling, like she said.
It's not.
Or business or things like that, really. It's going to be about life.
Yes.
Which is always something we all have in common.
Yes, we're all breathers with a TH there. Breathers.
Yeah, just careful what you say there. Someone was asking about Carhartt line jeans earlier. Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
Carhartt, period. Especially, just Carhartt.
That's a high sell-through brand for me, guys. I want to say my Carhartt sell-through is 100%. I don't think I've ever not sold one of those that I've picked up. And I've picked up probably, I don't know, probably at least a dozen, maybe a couple dozen. But yeah, I would absolutely pick up Carhartt line jeans. Great brand, great search. When you put that name in the title, you're going to get a lot of people going to see it. It's lined. There's lots of people who work outside in colder climate who love jeans like that. Really
rugged, well-made product. And you'll see primarily it's denim as well as the canvas tan stuff for men. Right? It's not only it's coveralls as well.
Workwear almost.
And every now and then you'll see some women's Carhartts as well. But we love Carhartt for sure.
Guys, well, listen. Hopefully some of those jean tips will be helpful. Trying promoted listings, knowing where you stand in your business and rededicating yourself to it. I mean, it really is around those tips. And if you have any other questions or so on, leave them down below or comments. And consider subscribing to the channel. We just passed over 10,000 subscribers. We didn't even talk about that. So
we need to get better about that, and we need to celebrate.
I know that is amazing. Amazing. I can't believe it.
And I have 72 subscribers as of the start of this.
She's catching me quick. So check out Karen's channel in the show notes. You can see a link to it. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and just get out there and make it better than it was yesterday.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Keep killing it, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. I'm Kaaren.
And I'm Prof Sales.
Saying good sales to you.